I look forward to listener feedback.
Yeah. Matt, how come you never write us?
Yeah.
I can give you listener feedback.
Yeah. So give us some feedback.
Yeah,
So
let's listen to your feedback.
how many episodes have you watched or
I've
listened to?
Listened to 14 episodes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And my listener feedback is you guys are really good interviewers and you do a great job of letting the people that come on this podcast speak to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
That's the kind of feedback that I appreciate.
I'll take it.
I really
may
appreciate
need
that
to
feedback.
Be turned down a little bit in my headphones, though.
Okay.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that better?
That's good.
Okay. I appreciate that feedback because that's one of the things I want to make sure that our guests are able to speak. Like we don't interrupt them, and like it sounds like we're listening to them when they give us answers to our questions. Because some interviewers don't do that. But thank you for that feedback.
Well, before we get started, Bacon, we got some new digs here.
Yeah, we
Look
do
at
have
us.
some
Yeah.
new digs.
I'm on a couch.
Yeah.
We did a 90. Did we do a 90? Not a 180.
It's a 90.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We turned a little bit.
We pivoted.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like
Ooh.
pivot.
We took the advice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
nice
we're
and cozy now.
we're sitting in couches and chairs now instead of being around a table because I kind of feel like this is kind of a more chill atmosphere. You know, people can relax and we can relax, and
Yeah.
I think it'll be cool.
I like
It's
it.
season 2 vibes.
Very
Yeah.
much so.
Oh, look at
Season
us.
2 vibes indeed.
And you sent Brian and I the latest updates for Northern Virginia. What's our ranking?
Oh yeah, we were number 7 in the top 10 of Northern Virginia podcasts. Now we're number 4.
Wow.
We moved up
baby.
3
Wow.
slots.
Thank you for listening to all 14 episodes, Matt.
We're
You
coming
helped
to
us
you
out.
3, 2, and 1.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's from feedspot.com. You can check out feedspot.com to figure out what the other podcasts out there are all about. They're mostly from Richmond. We're the only one from Northern that's on the list, but still pretty cool.
Hey.
This is PODCASTNV.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Look at us.
So what are we doing for today's episode?
Well, today's episode is one of our special Podcast NV interview episodes. We have someone here who is
There's a lot about me.
Right.
My rap sheet is long.
He's like, okay, get up to the top.
Yeah, he hails from Northern Virginia. He's been in the restaurant business for over 10 years. He's also a podcast host. You can catch his pod, Looch Dog, which has over 100 episodes, wherever you get your podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Matt LaBelle.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure having you here. Brian and I know you specifically from where you currently work,
Pacific.
the Lost Fox, in One Loudon. Great spot for live music.
Mm-hmm.
You can catch Brian and I there every second Tuesday of the month.
It is the only rooftop
Thursday.
adults only bar
Yes,
in One Loudon, and yeah,
I said Tuesday, but it's
I
yeah,
think
we're
it's
there on
Thursdays.
Thursdays.
It's
Yeah.
Thursdays.
Yeah.
They have live music multiple nights, but we're there regularly on Thursdays. Yeah,
Nice. The meat sweats.
That's right.
Nice.
bed and breakfast.
They've gone through 14 names from what I've gathered.
Oh yeah.
We should get Chocoholic to put all of our names on that list, on that little wall that you have.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She does a great job. She just did another one for us
Did
for
she?
Valentine's Day. She's actually been doing our chalkboards for 2 years now.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. Her artwork is insane. It's cool. She shows on her Instagram. She's got a couple. They're not too many. I guess she kind of likes to keep it kind of secret, but she shows parts of her process, especially for some of the bigger ones. And we interviewed not too long ago Jack Labadie, who's another phenomenal artist, and he does these big murals. And he works with kind of mixed media, but primarily paint instead of chalk. And he has a different method of how he goes about doing those bigger murals, because it blows my mind.
Yeah.
The amount of detail, you know, the textures and the shading and all that stuff. Yeah, she's fantastic. You guys are doing the right thing by having her come in there and, you know, refresh that board.
That's her full-time job.
Yeah.
That's what she does 100% of the time,
Hmm.
and she does it 100% the best. So
Wow.
That's
It-
crazy.
You guys should have different names for each time you guys play, so people are like, "Oh, I want to check those guys out," and it's just you guys again. You know, since you guys have like the litany of names,
Wearing the same outfit we had last time.
Exactly.
Oh, these guys again.
They're like, all right, bacon and eggs. This is gonna be fun. Wait a second, I saw the meat and sweats last week.
We switch it up. Sometimes I'm wearing a hat. Sometimes
Yeah.
he's wearing a hat.
Exactly. Switch
That's
up
perfect.
instruments. One you're in front. He's that kind of stuff.
You guys do an awesome job having live music there, and us as artists definitely appreciate that.
I mean, you guys are one of our favorite people to have because you guys bring such a party atmosphere vibe, and we host you guys, we invite you guys in for pretty much every party we have at Lost Fox, like our Oktoberfest party you've done the last 2 years, and that's always been
did the white
so
party.
much fun. The white party, I believe we call it a party in Blanc.
Okay. All right.
Get it right.
Not to be specific,
No, I like that.
Who's invited and whatnot.
That's
but
fancy, right?
That's some negative
Let's be
connotations
clear.
in the South.
It's
Okay.
a party
Yeah.
in Blanc. It's our Labor Day weekend party. But we've done 4th of July parties. We do parties all the time at Lost Fox that are more of an, like you said, an adult atmosphere because we're 21 and up all the time, which is fairly rare in Northern Virginia. But it's a beautiful place where it's a rooftop bar. It offers a little bit different vibes in each kind of space, like the outdoor bar where we allow cigar smoking, that front patio that's great for overlooking One Loudon, and also just the bar area itself where we have that live music that just kind of gives the vibe of hang out, have fun, and just relax.
And you guys have that corner spot too. So up on the second floor, everybody gets a phenomenal view of that space, which is great.
Yeah. And then if people can find us, because all the time people are like, we couldn't find you. We don't know where your door was.
Yeah, you just got to look up. It's the fox. It's literally a fox hanging up by the door.
So, do you ever have any issue or whatever with people that come with their kids? Like, do people come with their kids not knowing very often, or is that something that's rare?
The first year, we've been around for 4 years now. The first year, it was every single day. People were making reservations with us. People were coming in. People were looking to enjoy our space. I know this is early in the day and it looks like it's something that you guys would enjoy, but like we don't have a kids menu. We don't have anything. We have open flame fireplaces where your 4-year-olds, your 6-year-olds and everybody else is going to burn themselves on.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the concept of why we did it. When we first opened, we opened during COVID. We had patio heaters. We had like propane heaters everywhere that literally I have holes in my old jeans from when I leaned back into them. And we had people that were, messing around with the fire and everything else. And these are grown adults. So the fact that we didn't want to burn any kids was probably the right move for us to say, no, please don't bring your kids in. And then we got great feedback that said, this is nice.
Yeah.
We left our kids at home. We're enjoying a little date night.
It's like a little retreat.
It's everyone's here doing the same thing we are, and we're having a good time because we're enjoying each other's company and not worrying about what some other parent is being bad at.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
so true.
Amen.
Listening to the screaming and the crying.
And don't get me wrong, like my girlfriend has a 2-year-old son, and he's awesome, and it's great hanging out with him. My niece is 3, my nephew's 1.5. Like they are so much fun to be around and hang out with, but. At the end of the day, some of us and all of us need a little break.
Yeah,
And
Absolutely.
if you're headed to the Lost Fox, you got to leave him in the car.
Yep. Just leave the car on, please.
Right.
Maybe leave them home. Maybe not so much in the car.
Yeah, wait till they get older. They become a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Now, when you guys had opened or were open during COVID, were you in that realm of restaurants that were just pumping out to-go orders?
No, we opened when the restaurants really started to reopen. When I was bartending back in the day, I was bartending in Tyson's and Barrel and Bushel, and also bartending at City Tap in
Right
Warren
below.
Loudon.
Yeah.
And that's how I met everybody and got into where I'm at now. But we opened at a time where we were allowed to start bringing guests in. They still had to be spaced every 6 feet apart, and there still needed to be. There was no bar seating allowed when we first opened. You couldn't do bar seating from February of when we really opened to guests all the way through May, I think, of 2021. So it was still very much in control of like the amount of people. So we weren't even open 7 days a week. We only opened maybe, I gotta say,
Probably just the weekend.
I think it was
something.
like 4 days a week. It was like Wednesday. It was like it started Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. And Sundays, what we used to do was we were only open from 12 to 5 p.m. and we had a DJ the entire time, and
Nice.
all we did was party.
Nice.
Very anti-COVID, but
Yeah.
it was a really, really good time.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you grew up in Northern Virginia. You went to Radford. So what did you do right after you got out of college?
That was a mix. I worked at Home Depot, but also I wrote for the Loudon Independent, which was a very short-run newspaper in Ashburn, and I covered state championships for football, baseball, soccer, a couple others where I went to school for journalism and communication, and I fell in love with the wrong medium because newspapers are a very tough medium to be around in and be paid for. I got paid $100 an article, and all those state championships were literally in Southwest and like in Southern Virginia. So all of it went towards the gas to get there.
Yeah.
They didn't pay for my rooms or anything. Luckily, I was just stay with friends or do something stupid, but it was a lot of fun. But yeah, so I wrote for newspapers for a little bit, and I grew up in Northern Virginia. I went to Potomac Falls High School and grew up in Sterling, not far from there. I actually went to Broad Run High School too. In a weird way, I actually think I went there. Mackenzie Ryan actually knows a bunch of people that I knew from high school, and I didn't know this.
No, really?
Until I met her through Brian.
Right. Yeah.
And like over time, she was like, yeah, I went to Broad Run. And I was like, I went to Broad Run. When did you go there? Well, I was there in this time. I was like, you're a little behind me because I'm a little bit older.
Sure. But she knew some of the people.
But she knew a lot of the
grades.
people that she knew in different grades, and some of them were in my grade. I just didn't know those people I knew those people in middle school and then my freshman year. And then I was part of this world where high schools are being built in this county. When I went to school, I think there were 7, and now there's like 17 in Loudoun County, which is insane. And I got transferred because I was my zone. I lived right off of Algonquian Parkway. I was probably like 5 minutes away from Potomac Falls High School, and I was getting bussed out to Ashburn. And my favorite thing about this was I had math first period my freshman year of high school. We missed first period every day because there were so many lights on Route 7. We never got there on time. And by like week 2, they wouldn't even write us passes. We'd just walk into class. Yeah. So you really, even if you got there on time, you didn't have to go to first period because they knew you were the kid that was coming from Sterling that wasn't going to make it on time.
Now, what was being a writer out of college or while you were in college, was that the path that you intended on taking?
I did because I actually fell in love with it when I was playing high school football. I was injured at the time, and I was keeping stats for the game. Mm-hmm. And we had a local reporter covering one of our games, and I was standing with him. He talked to me before the game. He told me to stand with him and keep the stats, and I talked to him after. And right then and there, I mean, I'd always had an interest in sports and sports journalism. And then it was like, oh, wait, like I could make a career out of this. I didn't, obviously, but I could have a little fun doing this and see where it takes me. And I was the sports editor when I was at Radford. I was the managing editor, and I was editor-in-chief of the newspaper when I was at school.
Nice.
And I loved every single minute of it. I loved being up till 4 a.m. I loved sending things to publish. I loved editing, even though I was a terrible editor. I couldn't tell you which way to spell. I'll always remember my biggest mistake, actually. We were doing a Quest edition, which is the orientation at Radford. So basically we hand these out to students, and they're around campus each orientation period. Well, it was like 3:00 in the morning. We had this blank page that we needed to fill for this edition. So I wrote an article about being a parent of a college student, which obviously I knew nothing about, but I had the perspective of a college student, not wanting too much of a helicopter parent, not wanting someone totally disconnected from what I was doing, but like being supportive and being caring and making sure that your son or daughter knew that you were there for them in that time, and making them feel like it was worth it, not just for you guys, but also for them to be there. Mm-hmm. But I wrote the headline, and I said, "Your parents of college students now." And I wrote the wrong "your," and I published it.
Oh, no.
It wasn't a "UR," it was a YOUR.
We got a Bill Shakespeare over there using that paper for writing. For rolling doobies.
It was so bad. It was so bad that the school president and a bunch of other people, like from the administration, were like, "We need to pull the whole issue. We need to pull it all." And I was like, "No, man." Like,
we'll do it live.
I guarantee 90% of them aren't even going to know.
So many people make that mistake
Radford.
anyway.
Yeah, it is Radford.
And at the same time, it was Radford, and I'm not trying to.
They're rolling doobies anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was like, you know what? Half the people aren't even going to notice. Of the ones that do, I can't send me the emails of those people, and I will answer them direct and be like, "Yeah, it was me."
Now, did you go by a different name during this period, or you went by your given name?
I went by my given name always and forever, because my email was the best at Radford. I had my middle initial, and my middle name is Robert. my email at Radford was mrlabelle@radford.edu. So it was always Mr. LaBelle at radford.edu.
Nice.
There you go.
Mr. LaBelle.
Yeah, come and get me.
So here's a question that's kind of out of left field. One thing I think about as far as people, journalists or people who want to get into media, I feel like there's an automatically built-in gate for people to start at the intro level. You're making $100 an article and you're driving 100 miles. Where a kid who's not born to rich parents can't make that a career because they will never get the experience. So I'm just kind of curious, is that kind of like what your experience was? Is that kind of automatically built-in gate kind of kept you from going that direction?
I think a little bit of that. I think even a disillusion of media with obviously the medium that I fell in love with, newspapers, falling heavily out, and then seeing how TV media was then, even early on, I could see how TV media was. My parents wanted me to join a news organization that I, at the time, especially in college, did not agree with. But it was, it was one of those things where I started to see how media was and how fast and how quickly the care of facts started to become less important.
More about
and more
gets there
about the
first.
speed and who gets there first.
Click,
and that
click,
was
click.
never what I fell in love with.
Yeah.
The other side of what I truly fell in love with was the research. Like, I loved interviewing people. I loved getting to know a little bit of the story. And I loved to find, and in truth, this is actually comes from my other job after college, which was data analytics.
Okay.
I love statistics. I love numbers. And that was my other thing that was my favorite thing. Even now in my current job, I am a psycho and I love inventory. Like, it sounds crazy, but like, I love efficiencies. I love to find a way to make sure that we're pouring the right amount of liquor. We're not losing a lot of booze. We're keeping accounting of all that stuff that's going on and finding ways that if it's happening, to fix it. And numbers never lie. It was my favorite show on ESPN for a long time too.
Okay.
And it's just, I love a data-driven informational research to it. So that was the other side of the job that I liked a lot.
It's like a John Taffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting to the bottom of it.
Yeah. So you went to professional bartending school.
How did you know?
How did you get into that?
How did you know that?
Wait, were you on?
Apparently, it wasn't a requirement to be a bartender or PJ Skidoos, but that's besides the point. So how did you?
They let anybody in there.
You know how to pull a tap? All right, you're in.
Deep dive on me.
Were you in the TGI Friday bartending competition?
No. Well, by luck have it, I got laid off from a job.
Hopefully that works for me too.
Well, it worked out for me in this regard. Like, in college, I had, one, always been told I'd be a really good bartender. And two, I had done a couple things on the side just for fun. And it was pouring beer, pouring wine, simple stuff, right? And then I got laid off from my job. And my dad was like, yo, well, if you want to do this bartending thing, if you should do this bartending thing, we go and learn a little bit about it. And I searched the professional bartending school out in Arlington, and I signed up. It was a little bit of an expense, but at the same time, it was fun. And right away, they teach you the cocktails and they teach you all this stuff. And it was funny. I'll always remember the class because I was a little bit older than most, but the teacher asks, all right, they're going through all these boozes. And slowly but surely, I'm realizing, one, I'm an alcoholic, because he's asking, have you ever tried this? Have you ever tried that? Have you ever tried this? And like, every time I'm raising my hand.
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast.
They call me the sink.
And then and then they're like, oh, like, and then they ask one, and like, I'm the only person to raise my hand. And they're like, you seem to have tried a lot of booze. And I'm like, yeah, well,
I went to Radford.
I know. I went to this party school. It was in Southwest Virginia. But fun fact about Radford that may or may not be true, but we're the best people to hang out with because we know how to party, but we also know how to be friendly, open, and fun.
There you go. So tell us how you got into your podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm very interested to hear that.
So I had, and it's how anything goes when you connect with people, and the beauty of any, like the industry I'm in now and how I met you all and the connections you make with people. I had some group of friends, and I was working in an office at the time doing marketing research, and a friend of mine in that office connected me with someone, and then they connected me with the next person, and they were all doing a podcast, and I would be their number one listener because it was just like, oh, dang, I wish I was doing this. I'm so jealous. Why can't I be on a podcast, man? It's the worst.
Yeah, I can relate to that feeling.
You know, it's like I have podcast envy.
Thank God. Get ready.
And I was just listening, and I would text into the show. I'd text them all the stuff.
You're like,
and
what
then
are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing?
Hey guys.
and I would eventually they had me on for one episode, and we had a blast. And then that podcast ended. And well, it actually didn't end. It was still an iteration of the original podcast.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, I just budged my way in the door until I was there all the time. And
then you killed one of the guys that was and assumed his identity.
Yep. That's who I am now. Don't tell anyone. The Jeep Dive didn't find that, did it?
Yeah, your records only go back to 93.
So I met a guy named Adam Carluccio, and over time we became really good friends, and we ended up rooming together. We got an apartment. At the time I was looking for a place to live. He was looking for a roommate. And I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. And he was all in. He's a wedding DJ, but just loves radio. He had actually gone out to Colorado to host a morning radio show for about 6 months.
Ooh, the dream.
You say that, and then it's funny. He tells the story, and it's like they brought him out there, and then immediately they're like, "Oh, your co-host is fired, and this is your new show that you're going to try and figure out and do." But it was awesome meeting him, and then we were doing Luch Dog in the Morning, which was the original podcast, which basically was a variety show like any other morning show. I mean, we grew up in this area listening to Elliot in the Morning, right? Like that's and it's still on to this day. Yep. Speaking of which, Diane went to Radford, so
she
no
did.
way.
Yeah. But they did Elliot in the Morning is one of the stand-up like shows that has been around forever in this area, and it has that feel to it where everybody's friends, feels to it like doesn't matter if you're listening, you're gonna like really connect with this ridiculous host and his ridiculous voice and his antics, and like there's no way this guy could be even real.
Yeah.
866-2-ELLIOT 866-235-5468.
Wow.
Tell me, Diane.
Yeah, exactly.
Back when you used to be able to chain smoke in there.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And and that kind of fell along that theme. Like my friend Adam is an eccentric dude who is someone it's almost hard to believe. And he actually recently, just less than a year ago, got invited on by Elliot to do a segment on DC 101. And he did a full 3 hours.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And he loved it. And he did a great job because he just has that personality of the host.
He just picks it up quickly and
it's natural. And that's why when we were doing that show, we used to just record it and just, all of us would bring one little thing, like one little tidbit that we could go into, whether it be dating, whether it be a fun article we found or whatever we found, and just get into it for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And that grew into that studio. And then one day, so we were doing that podcast for a while, and we had recorded it all on YouTube and recorded the sessions and done all that. And then he started riding this electric skateboard called a one wheel.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what a one wheel is, it's an electric skateboard made by Future Motion that is basically a hoverboard, and it has this giant go-kart wheel in the center of it that holds the motor and everything else, and it's all self-balancing.
Mm-hmm.
Super fun, and there was nothing about it because it just came out from its version 1 into its XR platform. It had just really gotten into a lot of hands.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I got to start a podcast about this. There's no podcast that exists about this. Let's do it. And I started by just producing for him. I would hit the buttons, I would change over, and we would do a lot of interviews, mostly Skype interviews. And we were using Focusrite, we were using OBX, and doing a lot of switching. And I would just kind of keep a track of all that and like make sure everything was connected and bring people in. But I would chime in every once in a while. And slowly but surely, we had what was called the social media lounge, which we were doing all these shows live. And we had this like group of people that would watch the show every day. And they were just in the comments on the YouTube.
Yeah.
And just like, da-da-da-da-da-da. And finally, they were like, get Belly on the screen. By the way, Belly is my nickname on the show and nickname
right.
on Luch Dog in the Morning. I would go by Belly because my last name's LaBelle, and my roommate Adam would call me Belly all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it because, you know, the beauty of radio without video, right? You think someone called Belly is just this giant fat guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like, not that I'm necessarily a slender man, but
Right.
I'm not like someone
You're not
called
a
Belly.
7-foot ogre.
Yeah. You're like, oh, what does Belly look like? He sounds very rich and smooth. Like, oh my God.
Lay up, I'm
Self-proclaimed.
But I haven't seen him. He could be a total slob who's just known as Belly. And that was the beauty of it. So we went on long for that for a long time. So we started Voice of One Wheel, and probably like 20 episodes in, I got to be an on-camera talent in a way, because we record those episodes live on YouTube with, we had a call-in phone number line. Like you could literally, we had people that could call in and be like, what are you guys doing? This is the dumbest thing you've ever heard. Like, let me correct you real quick.
Oh,
Sounds like our
Jamie.
listener
Jamie,
feedback.
Jamie knows that.
No, you need a call-in line for Jamie so she can call and correct you anytime
Right.
you need. Or social media lounge.
That could be dangerous.
And I ain't gonna lie, there are times where the social media lounge wasn't very active, and we would just be like, "Oh, the social media lounge chiming in here."
Yeah. Just pretend that they are.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, they're popping off on that comment."
Bellybuster 69 says.
But yeah, so we did about 200 episodes of that, and we did a
Wow.
Patreon. We had a Patreon and everything, and what we do at the Patreon is we had close to like 60 Patreon subscribers, and what we do with that money is we basically just give it back into the show. We did a, man, we had to do it, but we did a Voice of One Wheel extravaganza one wheel giveaway show, blah 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 blah. I think it was like a 14-word title name. I can't even remember how many words were in it.
Like the Michael Scott
And we did like a
rabies.
3-hour live stream where we had a group of people from the DMV come to our apartment, and we had like a live social media lounge.
What?
Where people were in our living room while we were in the studio, and we bring them in one by one. They'd spin a wheel. We even did a couple one-wheel giveaways. We did a one-wheel giveaway where a guy in Japan won the first one-wheel we ever did, or that we ever gave away. It was crazy because we were like, oh, we have listeners in Japan. How are we getting translated into Japanese?
Yeah.
Like, how is this happening? But the community was always awesome. They do these things called Float Life Fest down in North Carolina, where 300, now it's close to 1,000 people go to these events. I went to Float Life Fest 3 myself, and it was crazy just meeting everyone outside of the world. These 3 guys come up to me and they're all like, "Oh, we are the guys from Germany. Like, we listen to you in Germany on our way. So when we're fun feeling, it's great." I was like, whoa. People know me in Germany.
Security, back up. Please don't touch.
Yeah.
me.
But the community was always so cool because we got to talk to a lot of people that made aftermarket products for the One Wheel. And we get to educate a lot of people about the One Wheel. And one of my favorite things we ever did, there was a guy in the community, his name's Bart Miller, and I would like to say, made the One Wheel infamous. He is in this video where they even showed it on Ridiculousness. He crashed his One Wheel while holding a beer, going extremely fast, not wearing a helmet, not wearing elbow pads, all of it. And the community originally eviscerated him. He's like, he's the reason we're going to fail. He's the reason this sport's going to lose and everything else. We had him on our podcast, and what you find out
he was still alive.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I thought this was ending in tragedy.
Brian's like, did he die?
And, well, unfortunately, there are some people that have passed away
Done
from
something
riding
similar,
one of those.
yeah.
He was not one, but it was one of those things. We got him on the show, and we showed his character and his human being and who he is. And who he is just the guy that's going to be the fun-loving guy who just wants to have a good time, but also make sure everyone else around them is having a good time. in a way that not a lot of people are. And it created such a unique person in him where he is even getting invited to the One Wheel headquarters, and he's doing stuff with the One Wheel people. And he's
all because you guys kind of gave him that platform.
He's a spokesperson for the community.
Yeah.
All because of a small little platform that we gave him in that short time that changed so many perspectives on just, besides the guy that was holding a beer riding a one wheel. Because guess what? I rode a one wheel. I crashed my one wheel with a backpack full of beer while holding a beer. And that was the same reason I sold it, because I was like, oh, this is COVID. I don't have insurance. I better stop.
Give me the top 10 of 2024.
Yeah. Tell me what I missed.
We've turned the calendar. We're in a new year, a new season. What did we have in 2024?
Hopefully we get better songs.
Yeah, it would be.
What Disney artist will we exploit next?
Well, it might be this one again.
Please.
What year is it?
Please.
Yeah. Is this really how this song starts?
Yeah.
I've never heard the whole song.
Really?
Yeah.
No, this isn't her, right?
This sounds like a video game, and
I know I have good judgment. I know I have good taste. It's funny and it's ironic.
That's Sabrina Carpenter with Short and Sweet.
It's Please. You're just throwing in the toots there. I love it.
That was Sabrina. Now you've been sued for slander.
talking about?
That's the remix.
Song.
All right, so
Can
that
we
was
do that again? Because I called it the fucking album name instead of the fucking song name.
What did you call
God
it?
damn it. I called it
Short and
and
Sweet.
Sweet,
Yeah.
which is the album.
Please.
So I was like, okay, maybe
All right.
maybe I got it
So
wrong.
that was number 10.
by
Yeah,
the
that was-
short and
It's
curly.
weird she's trying
All
to
right.
appeal to us.
Number 9.
Number 9, coming in at number 9.
Oh,
This is Dasha.
yeah.
I could not name an artist to save
It's
my life.
Boots, right?
It's
Austin.
Austin. That's
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
is.
Courtney loves this song.
Where's the fart? I'm convinced that this song was only big because there was a TikTok dance that was associated to it. And that went viral.
For the chorus.
Yeah.
Is that what the music future is? Is like, if you really want to hit it big, get TikTok viral
Yeah, I
of
think-
a dance.
I tell you, I keep telling Brian we need to do a dance for some of our songs.
That
just to-
Applebee's song. Like,
Oh,
what was
yeah.
that, 3 years ago?
Hey. Yeah,
Go
we
with
classy
Applebee's
like
on the
Applebee's
date
on the
night.
date night. Got the
Barbecue shake on the late night. No?
Yeah.
No, I never
You
heard
never heard
that.
that?
No.
In that Dixieland
Really?
delight. Woo!
This was a TikTok thing?
Yeah.
Are you guys both on TikTok?
No.
Yes.
I'm on the real
Okay, so the day
I'm on
later,
the 4 weeks
yeah,
later
the day
reel.
later TikTok, which is the Instagram reels or the
It's
YouTube
the adult
reels.
TikTok,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Have you seen TikTokers doing their dances in the wild? As in walking in the streets, doing whatever.
I haven't seen that. But that
Oh,
was-
yeah. New York apparently is huge for people just randomly stopping.
I've seen it one loud, and I had a host that worked for me that used to do it in the front. He would not do his job, and he was doing TikTok
TikToks.
dances
Yeah.
right in
gross.
the front of the restaurant.
Yep.
You're such an old man. Oh, that's gross.
Like, not only
Color me perturbed.
he was doing it, and then one day we were like, I go downstairs, or one of the managers goes downstairs, and we're like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, like, I'm doing stuff for my TikTok. And we're like, that's not what we hired you to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we need you to sit at this desk
Yeah.
and not move.
There's silverware to be rolled.
Yeah.
There are
we need
things
you to
that can be
greet
done.
guests coming in the door, not like dance.
There were
Yeah.
3 children that made it in because you weren't there.
You TikToking son of a gun.
People walking in like, that's Carol Baskin.
But that's
That's
the thing, though, right? It's like when you look at the TikToks, it's always in these strange locations, and watching them do it, it's like, oh, whatever, you're just flipping through. But seeing it from the behind the scenes, you're like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
It must look so
You're
good.
And they're
grocery
doing it while
store.
they're getting paid by me. Get out of here.
Sure.
Well, not by me, but
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, you're on the clock.
yeah.
All right. What do we got for number 8?
Number 8.
Why is all of this starting with like a synthwave 80s sound?
Yeah,
that's 2 for 3.
That's where we are right
That's
now.
how we go. Is this another Sabrina Carpenter song?
No, but you're close.
No, it's Chapel Roan.
There you go.
Oh,
Chapel Roan.
Man, this guy over here.
That's right.
Oh,
Well, if you remember this song when we had Shelley Starr on, she
Oh, yeah.
referenced this
Yep,
song,
yep,
so
yep.
that's why it clicked with me.
Sure, I'm sure that's why.
No, that's
It's fine. It's cool.
I love TikTok.
well, it was ever. I do like in that song though. At the very end, she like slows it down. It's like
Sure.
it just is different.
It's
right?
cool. My comparison would be to the Black Keys song. I think it's their submarine song or whatever, or like Franz Ferdinand,
Yeah.
where it changes pace.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yours is Chapel Roan, huh?
No, I just said I appreciated that. You're grumpy today.
It's the cheese.
I think it is.
You're too far away from me.
Sticky
That's
cheese.
why.
Is it the risotto?
The mushroom risotto.
It was really good though.
Yeah. All right, number 7.
Number 7.
Come on, Casey Kasem.
Oh,
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
Billie Eilish.
Yeah. And it's
Birds of a Feather.
yeah.
Have you heard
Can
the
stick
the
together.
verses?
Oh, that was your karaoke song.
No, it wasn't.
Ah, you were singing it.
Nope. Nope.
What was your
Don't be
karaoke
in
song?
denial.
You'll know when I get there.
Oh, so it's on the list though. It's on the list.
It's on the
Okay.
list.
That's what we said.
Number
Okay.
6.
This one's an easy one to get.
Oh yeah,
Shaboozy.
Shabooz.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
the
that's right.
Shabooz.
You already
See,
said this. Why am I? I'm an
the
idiot.
bartender, John. Someone pour me up another shot of whiskey.
Yeah.
I'm drunk. Please don't piss me.
1.
Is
Here
it
comes the
country?
2 to the 3 to the 4.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Is it country?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I played for my kids because they like this song. I played them the Tipsy song, right? Everybody at the club
Yeah,
get tipsy
the
because that's
original.
where that came from. I said this is where it came from, and they're like, yeah, we like Shaboozy. I was like, okay, I'm out.
Interesting name, by the way, Shaboozy.
So
Actually, he's local. Isn't
he's from
Fredericksburg?
Woodbridge.
Woodbridge, that's what it is.
And his name is actually not Shaboozy. That's just
You're
the,
kidding.
Charles.
I don't
What?
believe you for a minute.
What? It's
His-
LaBelle.
it's spelled.
It was me.
Today's interview is Shaboozy.
You're a mean one, Mr. LaBelle. His name is Shabweze, and it's spelled differently, but they reconfigured the letters to make it easier.
What kind of cheese did you
Because who
have?
doesn't love boozy?
Hold on.
Wow, that wasn't even the sound. That wasn't even the soundboard.
There it is. All right, number 5.
Number 5.
Great song. I really like this song.
I actually like the other Hozier song we were just listening to.
Yeah, that was fresh.
Yeah, that was fresh.
Thank you, Bacon.
You're welcome. Listeners out there, you won't hear that.
I'll tell you what, I like Hozier as an artist, and I do appreciate his music for many reasons. They're catchy. They're, depending on what mood you're in, you can enjoy a different song that he has.
But
When we tried to add the big Hozier song that
Take Me to
everybody
Church?
recognized, the way in which it's like a whole new level of appreciation for him as an artist, because we were sitting there I was trying to figure out how to play the chords the way that he does it. My da solution to be able to make those transitions on guitar and sing what he's singing is insane.
Yeah.
That's a whole new level of mental level. You got me. It came full circle. A whole new platform of mental diversity that I just
you
don't
just
have.
changed the whole word. You're
I
like,
did.
I'm not saying level
doing it.
anymore. I'm out. All right.
Moving on.
All right, let's get to number 4.
Yep.
Mr. LaBelle's.
Number 4.
Oh, this guy's
Let's hear it.
awesome.
Let's
Yeah.
hear it. Hold on. Shh.
Everybody loves
Let's hear it.
Mississippi.
Something's got a hold of me lately. No, I don't know myself anymore.
Sing it, brother.
I love this song. Feels like the walls are all closing in, and the devil's knocking at my door. Whoa, whoa. Teddy Swims, I actually found on YouTube a long time ago doing cover songs.
Yeah.
And his voice just like right away grabs you.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an incredible amount of control.
In fact.
And he's got a great timbre. Is that right?
Yeah.
The right word for it?
He has a new Well, the second part of his new album is coming out and probably will be out by the time this episode airs.
No way.
I've tried everything but therapy. Part 1, part 2 actually releases in January.
Okay.
But yeah, he does such a good job of like the vocals and everything else. And I did this song for karaoke a couple weeks ago.
Did you?
And it's such a fun song, and his songs are really good.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I've been told that we should add one of his songs to our list. Perhaps.
Which one? The Door?
Perhaps. Yeah,
Oh,
maybe.
I love
The Door's my favorite.
Oh, I thought
The
you
Door.
were telling me to get out.
No. Well, maybe it's not so grumpy.
But that's the funny thing about albums like that Hozier song that we just you won't hear, but we heard, and this one. You always hear a song on an album that's supposed to be the top song on there, but it's true. The first song you hear from an artist isn't going to be the best song on the album.
Sure.
And that's
Yeah.
the best part about going in
And
truly
discovering-
discovering an artist
Yeah.
and finding out, oh, by the way, you didn't hear the best song. There's probably like 2 or 3 other songs that are
That are
better
gonna
than
blow
that.
blow your mind. Yeah.
That's how Steely Dan was for me.
Mm.
Which
That's the name.
is funny for me too, because you only to any artist that you hear mainstream, it's you hear the songs that have been approved,
Yeah,
for the radio
right.
or whatever, and then you get the album, or you buy more of their other songs that aren't necessarily singles, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
It's
like-
different now. It's
Yeah.
different now
It's so
because like back in the day, I don't want to age ourselves, but back in the day, you used to hear a song on the radio and you used to have to discover that artist. And I think you guys talked about it in a previous podcast where you had to go and buy the tape or the album. I had a cassette player in my car.
Yeah,
Mhm.
New Music Tuesdays, man. That's
Yeah.
That's the thing that happened when I was in high school. Anyway,
Yeah. And you discovered an artist and you went out and bought the album and you found out, oh crap, I've got a whole world to discover
Yeah.
about this person.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do more. And that's another beautiful thing about music.
I mentioned it once before in the Wallflowers. Their big debut album was that for me. I was like,
Yeah.
holy
Yeah.
shit!
Yeah.
One Headlight is just one song.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
it.
The
Everything
difference,
else on that album.
the
Yeah.
difference is one of my favorite
Yeah.
songs on the
Or
album.
Three Marlenas.
Yeah.
Or,
Three
you know.
Marlenas. Yeah, that's a good pull
But
too.
sometimes I love like the bonus songs, right?
Yeah.
So
The
sometimes
end,
the
yeah.
ones that they either throw in at the end or it's not even listed. If you listen to the song past the track.
That's when you
It's like-
subscribe to the Patreon, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Buy the album and you'll get that song.
Exactly.
One of my favorite Blink songs is at the end of "Take Off Your Pants and Jacket." It's a secret song at the end. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like one of their best songs, I think. Anyway,
Yeah.
The beauty of secrets.
You don't get it anymore.
Nope.
Now you just get the singles.
And you can get on Spotify as soon as that album releases and find it all.
Mhm.
yeah. And like, would you even be able to do a secret song unless you actually tagged it at the end of one of your songs? Like,
Can I
it looks like a
can I
10-minute
tell you
song,
in the
but-
modern world of recording?
Hey, go ahead and tell us.
Let's
Not
hear-
having-
let's hear
Oh, we're hearing a secret.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this
some
is a
industry
secret. So-
industry perspective.
Yeah.
Not
Radio
having-
Insider.
Not having a record label that's paying for all this stuff, where
Yeah.
you're
I thought it was
literally
Revelry.
as the art. Well, say that again.
Beverly.
I want the EP that I've been working on for the last several months.
Oh, the emo one.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're working on getting it out, but I really wanted to add like an intro to the EP, and have it be an added track. But because there's no purpose, not that there's not a purpose, but
Wow.
there's no, I don't know how to phrase it. Like there's no reason to add it, right? Financially, there's no reason to add it because when I put it out there for people to stream, like they're not going to be like, oh, how do I get the thing? It's like
Yeah.
there's just no purpose for adding it as
Right.
much as I want to. And it's something that I've actually been very passionate about recording and adding to a project like this for so many years. But financially, as an independent artist and, for all the other reasons, it's like, why would I do it? It doesn't make sense.
It's almost like you need to find a different way to hide a song.
Yeah.
Whether it's you don't maybe you play it live, but you don't put it out digitally.
Sure.
Right.
It's like
and
you
people
come
are
to
like,
a
how do I
show
get
and
that?
That's
You know.
probably the only way. It's honestly sad in a way.
And
I
then
know.
you figure out a
Sucks.
way to monetize it. Like CDs, nobody really buys now, but like figure out a way to be like, oh, well, you get past this paywall and you get these couple songs that I've now added kind of deal.
How did you guys set up your Patreon? How
You just go on Patreon and you set it up, and then you tell people to subscribe. And if you want this extra thing, like for example, if every time you guys recorded a podcast or every time you did it, you always did an extra hour, but that extra hour is only for your Patreon subscribers.
Number 3.
Number 3, we're still doing
please,
this.
if we could, yeah.
We are
Sabrina.
Espresso.
Yeah.
Espresso.
Wow, she didn't get to number 1. Well, I guess she was at number 1, but it's not the top one.
No, she's Disney's working on number 1.
If you're anything like me, the number 1 is going to really disappoint you.
All right. That's a shame. What about number 2?
Number 2, though.
Benson Boone.
Benson Boone.
Oh, is that what that is?
I didn't realize he was on American Idol. Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that either.
I told Tim, could you imagine doing a backflip once off stage and then setting the precedent to have to do that for every single show you ever do for the rest of your life?
That's one way to break a leg.
Did you guys see Olivia Rodrigo falling into the stage because they forgot to close one of the
that was rough.
platforms? I'm like, well, good thing she wasn't doing a backflip.
She's not the next Disney star. They got the next one. Your time has passed. Drop down this hole.
She's too old.
Stay. I want you. I need you. Oh God.
Elephant brain over here. Good job, Mason.
Take
these beautiful things that I've got. Please stay.
Come on, Bacon, hit me.
I want you. I need you. Oh God. Don't take these beautiful things that I've got.
Nailed it.
That's like waiting for tonight. You got to hit the high note.
Yeah.
Do you guys listen to Rick Beato at all or watch Rick
Yeah.
Beato? He has a very interesting comment about this song, and that he says he wishes that they used more compression so it didn't sound like he was stressing his voice so much. Because he kind of sounds like he's at that point in your voice where you're screamy instead of being,
But a lot of times the recording in the studio is set at a certain key, and then when they play it live. So is he saying that he just wishes for all of eternity that it didn't sound like the studio recording? Really?
Yeah, he thinks they should have put compression on it so it would make his voice sound more.
I thought it sounded
An
good.
artist who doesn't like his own song being broadcast the way it was.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Right?
You think they get a say?
Like, all right, no, it's the studio. We're paying for everything.
Facts. All right, give us the number 1 song of 2024.
Number 1 of 2024.
It'd be great is if he just played a RadioNV song.
I know. Stick season.
That's number
No
1.
con.
You're upset about that?
Yeah.
Why?
Because,
Do you know how many people came up to me and asked when this song first came out? I learned about it on a reel. That was probably a TikTok. And somebody came up to me and asked me the day after I learned this song's existence and asked if I could play it. And I was like, I've had less than 24 hours. You expect me to play this song?
We were playing an Eavesdrop, and they asked if we could do a Benson Boone song.
Yeah.
And I looked at you, and you were like, and I was like,
I'm like, Tim will do a backflip, but that's as close as we get.
I like Eavesdrop.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so awesome.
yeah, it's a cool place. Hate the parking, though.
Parking is the worst.
Parking is awful.
It was so funny. I was just listening to the parking anxiety episode.
Careful, Bacon.
With this guy.
Yeah. Are you okay, Bacon?
I'm okay. Just let's not get too deep into the topic. all right?
Listen, I know Lost Fox doesn't have great parking. It's so far away, and our elevator's been broken forever.
Oh, dude, that's a killer for the artist.
Yeah, I know.
I tell you, with all the equipment
Hey,
we
you're
got to
a
haul
strong
up
guy.
there. Yeah. It's okay. I'll show up early and make extra trips.
It's all right. I'll send guys. I'll send guys to take care of it.
Yeah.
At the end,
one of them's outside doing TikTok, so he's already there. Thank you.
It's like I show up at the top with all my equipment, like Kevin with the chili bowl or chili pot.
Oh, man.
Damn it.
Yeah.
All right. So that was the top 10 of 2024.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, but I think we've all heard those songs, so
So
there's no
should-
surprise.
Should we add any one of those songs?
No.
Where's the cricket sound?
Yeah,
Thank
Yeah.
you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
yes.
Thank you guys.
You were awesome.
Yes.
Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if we brought you back
Nor would I.
to be a regular person
Anytime.
anytime.
Sure, I can do some cartwheels.
If Tim would
All
just stop
right.
hitting his face
I tell you.
into the
I
microphone.
got to get used to the new setup. That's all it is.
This is my golden hour. I'm just waking up. I'm
boy.
hitting my second win because I'm here. I'm up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning all the time.
He's going
And
to
on
cloak
that
him.
note, we're all going home.
Hey, cheers, Matt. Thank you so much for
Cheers
coming.
to that.
See, I'm not the only one. Thank you, Matt. You're a good friend. All right, here we go. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
And science ho! This podcast was produced and engineered by Michael Bacon from Bacon Wave Productions in cooperation with Revelry Media Productions. Video was provided by Brian Johnson. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on our latest episodes. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at PodcastRNV and on TikTok at podcast.nv. Send us your thoughts over email at feedback@podcastnv.com.
We have really good researchers here
That's
at
fun.
PodcastNV.
It's all in fun.
We have
No,
sources.
I love it actually. No, I appreciate you doing the research. I mean, I sent an email to Bacon that went over some things because I wanted to provide information. because-
Yeah, I wasn't on that.
Yeah.
I didn't share it with
Yeah. Brian, were you on that email?
No, it was not.
No,
No.
Oh, well.
No. And it took us a while to find it, but we did. We found you on Feet Finder. Yeah.
You found out I have Hobbit feet.
I mean, I was sitting here admiring your foot. I mean,
I'm covering
Well,
up
it's this
all
new
the hair on my foot.
He's like, only if I get paid do you get to see these bad boys.
Yeah. Check out my OF.
Yes.
Mr. LaBelle.
It's actually
call yourself Belle LaBelle if you
Mr.
want to.
LaBelle.
Yeah.